Hi, I'm Christian Brindle, and welcome to the Everything Medicare Podcast.
What's up, Everything Medicare Podcast Nation? This is Christian Brindle, wherever you are and however you might be listening to me today. Thank you so much for taking the time. Folks, this is episode 222, the 222 on the episode number we're working on today, folks. Every single week, me and my company bring you a podcast episode on Mondays where we discuss your Medicare, your Medicaid, your Social Security, and everything that has to do with that golden age called retirement. And folks, there's nothing I love talking about more than Medicare. I'll be completely frank with you on that. And it's insane to me. And I drive my wife crazy, as many of you probably can imagine, because I will spend all day talking to clients, agents that we work with, business partners, about Medicare. And then I'll come home and I want to tell my wife about Medicare and talk to my wife about Medicare. She's a licensed insurance agent herself in her own regard. But, and she just doesn't want to hear it. She's like, listen, I don't want to talk about this. She's like, I want to go for a walk. I want to spend time with our daughter. I want to go out to dinner. I don't care. I don't care. And the average person doesn't care. But if this audience and this platform and this show has taught me anything, being 222 episodes in over the course of 2.5 years roughly, it's that a lot of people do care. A lot of people do care about Medicare, and they care about knowing their choices and being educated and making sure that you're making the best decisions for yourself, your loved ones, for your health. And I love it. And it excites me so much on a grand scale. I know some people in our audience complain that I rant and riff too much. I don't care. I'm going to keep doing the show the way I've always done it, because the 99% of you come week after week after week because of the way we do the show and because of the way we do the format. Now, today, folks, we're going to be talking about prescription drug plan changes that are happening for the most part across the country. When I say prescription drug plan changes, I mean PDPs. PDP stands for Prescription Drug Plan. They're individual Part D plans is what they're called. Medicare Part D plans through private insurance companies. D stands for drugs, that give you prescription coverage. That's what their job is. That's what they're here to do. That's what they bring to the table. Now, in terms of what they're used for is, if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, you're typically not going to want to pick up a Part D prescription drug plan because you can't have both simultaneously. For the most part, because Medicare Advantage plans on a grand scale have Part D drug coverage. Now, even if a Medicare Advantage plan does not have Part D drug coverage, you typically can't have a Part D plan with it. It's just you can't have both programs at the same time. A Medicare Part D drug plan is typically used to pair with someone that has a Medicare supplement or a Medigap. A Medicare supplement pays the 20% that Medicare leaves behind. Medicare from the government, A and B, only cover medical bills. They pay 80%. The Medicare supplement pays 20%, but that leaves a person without prescription coverage. Enter Medicare Part D plans. Now, one thing we've seen, and we actually saw it happen last year, and this was, it might have happened previous, maybe I'm just not remembering, but I don't seem to remember it happening on a scale that it happened last year, but this was the first time I saw something of this magnitude. There was a very large insurance company, I'm going to call them the Green Company. I've gotten to start calling them the Green Company so I don't get myself in trouble. It's a company that has a lot of green in their logo, let's put it that way. Very large insurance company, Fortune 500 insurance company, on the stock exchange insurance company, one that you all know. Every single person that's listening to this knows this insurance company. They had a very, very popular prescription drug plan that has been on the market for years and years and years. And what they did last year, last open enrollment period, because we're basically in open enrollment or right before it right now as you listen to this. But what they did last year is they took this very prominent and popular Part D prescription drug plan, and they did what's called as a walk-over. In the insurance industry, what that means is they basically transition the plan into another plan. So what that really means is they're going to change your plan! They're changing your plan to another plan. It's a fancy way of saying that. And there's nothing you can do about it. All you can do about it is change your plan if you don't like what they're changing it to. On this particular plan that they were changing, the premiums were anywhere between $20 to maybe $28 a month in most places across the country, and it was a very popular plan. They moved it over to a plan that was no better, no worse, but it was like $55 to $60 a month depending on the market. So doubling the premium for most people, if not a little bit more than double. We were proactive about it. We contacted every single one of our clients on that plan, and we moved all of them except for like 2 or 3 that we couldn't get a hold of. Because what this insurance company also did is they came out with a new plan, called it the same name or very close to the same name as the plan that they walked over previously that had been so popular. It was a brand new plan. The benefits were almost the same, very similar plan, and that came out, and depending on the market, it was anywhere between $13 to about $20 a month, give or take. So what we did was we made sure everybody that was having their plan changed in a negative way, we moved them over to this new plan. Now, why would an insurance company do that? Well, it's quite simple. There's 2 reasons, I would say. Number 1, they open up a new block of business for a new, cheaper plan with no other people on it. There's no claims being paid out, and they get a lot of new business from this new plan. It's a new hot commodity. Now, in terms of the old plan and all the business they have on that old plan, a huge percentage of people that don't pay attention didn't change the plan. They weren't aware of what was going on. They don't look at their mail. They don't, pay attention. Huge percentage of people. And after December 7th, you're stuck on that plan for the whole calendar year of the next upcoming year. So for this huge percentage of people, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, it's 20% of the people, or 30 or 40. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have any numbers. I'm just speaking in hypotheticals here. But let's say it's 25% of the people. And there's millions of people on this drug plan. That's a realistic number. 25% of those people didn't do anything about it because they weren't paying attention. Their price doubled in January of the next upcoming year. They're locked in. They can't do anything about it. The insurance company's like, thumbs up, double thumbs up, because now they're getting twice as much money from that 25% of people. That's why they do it. Those 2 reasons right there. Open up a new block, and the unsuspecting people, they can profit hugely off of them more than they were before. Because it's not any better of a plan. It's the same exact plan, almost identically if you look at the benefits side by side. Maybe a few small minor differences. But it's real sneaky. And me as an agent, I despise when an insurance company does that. I think it's slimy. I think it's sneaky. And they'll never come out and admit that what I'm saying is their intentions, but I have a strong suspicion that's what's going on. But we weren't going to let them do that to our clients. We moved them all to the new plan, or as many as we possibly could. There was, like I said, a couple that we couldn't get a hold of, but we can only do what we can do. This upcoming year, now that was the first time I saw an insurance company do that on that grand of a scale. And it turned out to have worked for them at the expense of their customers. So now we're seeing more prescription drug plan companies do that this upcoming open enrollment period. How can you know this if this is impacting you? How can you check and see if you're affected? Well, I've taken a quick break here from this week's sponsor. I will tell you that in segment 2 of 2. We'll talk about what you need to look for, what you can do to prevent this from happening to you, and what you need to know in order to pay attention and make sure that you don't get stuck in a situation where you're locked in and you don't realize the change until January 1 of next year. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. with me through that break. This is episode 222, that is, of the Everything Medicare Podcast. Christian Brindle here. This is segment 2 of 2. Let's get right into it, folks. So how can you avoid what we talked about in segment 1? Well, first off, you have to pay attention. These insurance companies, whether you have a Medicare Advantage plan or a Part D prescription drug plan, have to send you, and you should have received it a long time ago, actually, probably back in September is when you probably should have received it. So if you didn't, make sure to check through your mail. Just make sure you're paying attention. But you should have received something called an ANOC. An ANOC stands for an Annual Notice of Change. An Annual Notice of Change is basically showing you what's different on your plan from this year to next year. Side by side. It's very easy to understand. It's a Medicare regulation that these insurance companies have to send these to you in the mail. So if you're on a plan and they have the correct mailing address for you on file, you got one. If you don't have one, you might have accidentally thrown it away. I suppose it could have got lost in the mail, but I've never seen that happen. Or maybe if I have, I can count on one hand how many times I've seen that happen. So you got one. If you didn't get one, contact your insurance company, ask for a new one. They'll send you a new one. There are several insurance companies this year that are basically following the blueprint of what that bigger green company did last year. I can't say the names of the companies because then it seems like I'm targeting them, and they're companies we represent could ruin our relationship. Not only ruin our relationship, but they might not allow me to represent them anymore, and that doesn't do my clients any good. Every insurance company does things I don't like. They all do things I like. Well, they don't all do things I like, but a lot of them do things I like. A lot of them do things I don't like. None of them are perfect. And so I can't just go bashing every insurance company every time they do something I don't like, because then we won't be able to offer any insurance company to our clients, and that actually does our clients a disservice in the long scheme of things. So I'm not going to tell you the names of the insurance companies that are doing that. I can't. I just can't. On a broadcast like this anyway. But look at your annual notice of change. You probably, if your plan was walked over to a new plan, you should have received a letter specifically documenting it. This is how you find this stuff out. Check your mail. Read the ANOC. Did your premium go from $30 a month to $80 next year? That's how you know on your Part D prescription drug plan. It's probably not a bad idea if you take any expensive medications even to have your prescription drug plan compared for 2021. Because even if your premium didn't change, the formulary might have changed. And the ANOC's not going to tell you that. A formulary is essentially a list of medications. It's built up of thousands of medications, realistically speaking. And these thousands of medications dictate, basically, how well they're going to cover a certain medication, if they're going to cover it at all. So that's constantly changing during open enrollment. It's not a bad idea to have your prescription drug plan compared and see if you can do better in the upcoming year. We do that for our clients. And it's as simple as that, folks. Make sure to pay attention, because after December 7th comes and goes, you're stuck on your particular drug plan. Well, Christian, couldn't I just cancel it? Yeah, but then you have no drug coverage. How does that help you? You can't sign up for a new one after December 7th. Medicare Advantage has another enrollment period in January. It goes from January through March 31st. They can make a change. They're not quite as locked in, but the Part D prescription drug plan people, you're truly locked in unless you have a life-changing event like a special enrollment period. Unless you had some kind of wacky thing happen to you, like let's say you moved out of the state or something, you are going to be locked in. Please keep this in mind. Now, what I would say, folks, is just make sure to pay attention. Look at your ANOCs. This is how you can avoid this happening to you. And because the insurance companies are banking that a large percentage of the people will not notice their change, that they're walking it over, quote unquote, to another plan that might be a lot more expensive. They're counting on a large percentage of you to not notice it, and then they get to make twice, if not 3 times as much premium off of you monthly for a whole year, and they just stuff their fat faces. Don't let them do that to you. They're counting on that you're not going to take it seriously. They're banking on it. And we may see more and more insurance companies try this. They build up a lot of people on a plan, then they triple the premium and just be like, people aren't going to pay attention. And we're going to get, Uber bucks. Don't let them get Uber bucks off of you. That's my encouragement this upcoming open enrollment period when it comes to prescription drug plans. And there are several large name insurance companies that are doing this nationwide. This AEP. This is open enrollment period. As always, folks, thanks so much for taking the time to listen. We really appreciate it. We love doing the show for you. We'll have an episode for you every week all throughout open enrollment period. We will not waver. If you enjoy our show and you're listening to us on a platform that allows you to do so, like Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or someplace like that, please do us a favor. Drop us a 5-star review so more people like you can hear our message and we can help them. It helps the algorithms show our shows to more people, and people can find us easier if you help us out by doing that, so we really appreciate it. As always, folks, wishing you a fantastic open enrollment period. I hope you get everything accomplished that you want to get accomplished, and we'll be here with you every step of the way. Thank you so much for the time. Look forward to it. Have a great week.